Hi, hello. Majority of you watch me on mobile, so I thought I would do it this way around this week. It's not going to be here to stay, just a little fun experiment, but I'm going to be answering your questions today. Now stick with me because there are some really good ones.
Was being a model always the goal, or was it dancing?
What a loaded question this one is. And one that brings me great pain, even though I'm smiling, because it was always dancing for me. Of course it was. This is just a happy accident. This is where I ended up. Sometimes life can be like that, and that's why I recommend setting goals, because you end up going off on little side quests that become like 10-year careers and don't actually get you any closer to the initial goal and thought you had for yourself. So that's fun, but that sounds like I'm ungrateful, and I'm totally not ungrateful. I'm really blessed to have had the career that I've had. But yes, it originally was meant to be dancing, and somehow I got here.
Should Disney make more Han Solo movies?
Respectfully, no.
How long does it take you to think of ideas?
Trust me when I say I never have a lack of ideas. I have too many ideas, if anything. Maybe I should just sell my ideas to other people to do, because I have so many ideas that I think I'll actually be dead before I could even possibly complete them all. That is not an exaggeration. I have notebooks and notebooks filled with ideas. And my biggest struggle is I want to do so much that I can't actually do it all, which I've learned the hard way over the years. But I would really benefit from having multiples of me. One to edit, one to shoot, one to do all these other good stuff. But I can't do it. And I've learned to just pick my favorite ideas, or the one that sparks the most joy, or the one that I feel like I can take to its fullest potential. That's usually how I go with it. I have a ton of ideas, and basically at this point I go eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Apart from latex and cosplaying, what do you do, to chill?
I have monetized nearly every single hobby I've ever done or ever had. So that becomes problematic when you're looking for stuff to do to unwind. I'm not even kidding at this point. But my favorite pastime and hobby, as I call it, is going to the cinema and watching films. I don't even care if they're good films, bad films, mid films. I just go and watch films. I have always had a huge love for cinema and films and series, but I'm more a films kind of girly because my parents heavily have always had films in my life. They love films. They've passed that love on to me. I have such fond core memories of watching films with my grandparents and like my mom and my dad throughout my childhood that stick with me. And films are like a comfort and a relaxing place for me when I want to switch off. I don't care if they're good or bad, like I said. I usually have very bad taste in films, which, makes it even more fun.
What got you into pinup?
When I was training to be a performer, we actually were encouraged to look at other options within the performing arts industry because you cannot be booked all the time, and ain't that the truth? So I started to research different things on the internet, and I found the likes of Sabina Kelly and Dita Fontees, and I really was just blown away by how amazing they looked, how confident they portrayed themselves. They knew who they were. Burlesque was beautiful. It was enticing to me. I found it really curious, and I loved this whole subculture that I found myself in. I then started to be more and more inspired by the look itself, and I started to do my winged eyeliner more, and I started to attempt to do the hairstyles terribly at the time and just try to mimic because I wanted that feeling for myself. I love the strong portrayal here, the femininity, but also the zero that we're giving at the same time. It's hard to explain, but it called to me, and it's always been something that I've flip-flopped out of over the years. But the confidence that pinup and burlesque and everything else gives you has never left me. I've always carried that with me, whether my hair's been in a front roll or a pin-up hairstyle or not. That confidence has always stayed with me, and that is where my first taste of it come from, I believe. And the rest is just history, as they say.
Will you ever cosplay Shigo from Kim Possible?
The chances are pretty slim that I'm ever going to cosplay her, I'm not going to lie. She has, however, been on my list to cosplay for years. Now, don't rule it out around Halloween time that I might decide to do something inspired by her, but also probably not.
How did you even make this a career, especially when it varies financially so much?
This is an amazing question, and one that actually I don't get asked at all, strangely enough. So when I was starting out at Performing Arts College, I had a Saturday job to get me by, covered my parking and any of my kit and stuff that I needed whilst dancing. And then when I graduated, I then went on to just do extra work and character work and stuff like that. I taught dance. I've had a varied career because I've never just been one thing, you know, for everyone that says niche down. I've never just been that one thing. I've always had an array of things in my back pocket that I just use when times get hard. So when money I find varies, I just go do some extra work. I go do some character work. I'll go do anything really that was still within my wheelhouse, and that was the bonus of being able to dance and teach and everything like that in between. I wasn't ever just one thing, and I'm still not just one thing. I can go and do an array of things. I don't just rely on online money and hoping that something will go viral or people are going to want prints of it or anything like that. When it comes to knowing what's going to make money, also the longer the internet is around and the more people that start careers in it, it becomes harder and harder to know what's going to make you money. And the real fun fact about a job like this is you can't guarantee that it will ever make you any money. I don't know if the cosplay that I'm going to wear is going to actually financially bring any income in, whether I sell prints of it or not, doesn't mean it's going to bring in money. I could think it's the best idea. It can be something that's trending. You can go off statistics, anything like that. It still doesn't guarantee that you're going to make any money from it at the end of the day. And that is the biggest risk I feel when doing anything like this. You invest your money into something and hope that there'll be a return, but you can never guarantee. And over the years, some of the things that I thought, you know what, that's going to bring me money, doesn't. And the things that I'm like, that's not going to bring any money, do. You know, there's people that analyze their statistics and they probably do a much better job, but also things that I've learned over the years is they basically mean nothing to me because it either works or it doesn't, and I cannot guarantee what will or won't work, even if statistically it should. Now, I know that's just made a lot of people roll their eyes for the people who are super analytical, but hey, I said what I said. It doesn't work for the content that I put out, and sometimes it will bang, sometimes it won't. Simple as. Having the willpower to not go off on a tangent as well when something is doing very, very well is very, very hard, because I realistically, if you want to look at stats, should be living as Velma, because whenever I put a Velma video out, it bangs, it does views, it brings in a lot of interest. But I don't want to spend the rest of my life living as Velma. I don't want to do just Velma content, and this is where it gets tempting and dangerous, and not dangerous like in, you know, like dangerous, but this is where it gets really, really critical for the brain, because if you don't want to be that one thing, or you don't want to be known for that thing, you cannot fixate on it. You have to just keep going and say, hey, that banged, that was good, wasn't it? But if you know you don't want to be that one thing, you cannot continuously do that, because you will become that one thing. And once you're in that hole, it's not impossible to get out, but also it's kind of impossible to get out.
If you could be at the top of your field in anything you wanted, what would you choose?
Talk about a question to get my brain working. I think, truthfully, me and you both know what I'm gonna pick. And if you're not saying dancing, then I guess you need to go back and watch my other videos, because it will always be dancing. And I don't care if being the top in that field pays well or not. I just feel like it would... don't know. I say it would be fulfilling, but I mean, I also do know the industry. So maybe not. In my mind, if I could pick to do it all again and be the top of anything, it would be dancing. Definitely.
When you were at school, what was your favourite and least favourite subjects?
That's literally so long ago now, I'm not even kidding. But from what I vaguely remember, my favourite subjects go across two, actually. Art, which is obvious. I loved drawing and making and crafting. No surprises. And also history. I was a big history nerd at the time. I was obsessed, and I actually do blame Lara Croft for that. I was a huge Tomb Raider fan, still am. Well, maybe. I just was obsessed. I thought I was actually going to be an archaeologist. I couldn't spell it at the time when I decided that, but I genuinely thought when I was about 8 years old that I was going to be an archaeologist at some point. And well, I guess that didn't work. But my least favorite subject at school was maths. I was so bad at it, like so bad, and I just couldn't get it. So when I got a C in my GCSEs, I mean, they're not even called that anymore, that's how old I am, but when I got a C in my GCSEs, I remember my dad being so proud of me because it was so stressful at the time. Like, I basically was told I was going to fail and I'd have to resit, and I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to go on to college and not worry. So the fact I got a C, I think we both just like was jumping up and down. It was crazy because I wasn't meant to do it and I did it. And that is because I just really knew I didn't want the other option. See, when you don't want to fail, then the odds are stacked against you and you just dig deep. That's my mentality anyway. I just dug deep and was like, I'm going to get this C and I'm going to prove everyone that I can get this C. And I did the lower paper, so the highest grade I could get was a C, but it was a risk because I was actually not guaranteed the C. I'd have to score quite high to get the C, and I still did it. So yeah, there's your inspiration. Everyone can get their C in maths if they want it.
What's your goals and aims for the next 5 to 10 years, work and personal?
Wow. I wish that I could give you an answer, but there is nothing. Not a single thought going on in this brain of mine. And that probably should scare me. I think it should scare me a lot because it's probably scaring you right now because you probably have your next 5-10 years mapped out in front of you, and I'm here like, I don't know, Google it. No, sorry, that was a bad choice for that line, but honestly, got no clue what I want this year, let alone the next 5-10 years. Will I still be here doing videos and content? Probably. I'm not gonna lie, probably. Will it be in the same format? I don't know, but I guess we've got 5-10 years to figure it out.
Is there anything you regret wearing?
I regret wearing this outfit, and it's probably not going to be for the reasons you think. So a very long time ago, in my wisdom, I decided to wear this in 42-degree heat in Sicily. Yep, mistakes were made, and it's the most uncomfortable I have ever been in my life. And I have worn a lot of stupid costumes over the years, a lot of stupid outfits in a lot of stupid places, and a lot of stupid temperatures. And this probably has to be my biggest regret that I ever did this, because I just was so uncomfortable, and I did 16 hours in that outfit in the end. Yeah, 16 hours.
Best recommendations for comfy shoes for Comic-Con, please.
Now this one I could probably do a whole 20-minute video on by itself. It's a fantastic question, and one that I'm going to try and answer for you very, very quickly. So if your character that you're cosplaying wears heels, get wedges. There are lots of options for wedges, and it means that your feet will hurt less over time. This is what I've found for myself over the years. If your character wears high heel boots, get wedged or platform high heel boots. There are loads of options again, as you can see here, and it just gives you that elevation, that length in your body, that confidence without making your feet hurt as badly. And it means that it still goes with the costume itself, so you don't have to worry about them not fitting in with what you're wearing because you got to wear comfy shoes.
Is it very difficult to manage your popularity on social media?
I don't even know what to say to this one because I don't even feel like I'm popular. I guess I don't see myself like you obviously see me. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I don't have anyone come up to me in real life and be like, hey, I know you, blah, 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 I follow you. It very rarely happens. I mean, sometimes it does, but very, very rarely. Like, obviously, if I'm at a convention or a specific thing that's been part of my career, chances are people are going to say, hey, ask for a photo or send me a DM and be like, oh, I saw you at so-and-so, but I was too shy, whatever. Like, but every day, I don't even really think about it. I don't think about my popularity at all, or if anyone's going to know me or anything like that. Like, never even crosses my mind. So it's really interesting that you ask me about how I deal with my social media fame, as you put it. But one thing I will say is that I have the nicest, most respectful community. When I went to MCM in London recently, back in October, I was so blown away by how supportive and just happy you all were that I was there and that we could chat, and no one was weird or creepy or did anything or said anything inappropriate. I mean, there was that one guy, but we won't talk about that. But everyone else was just so happy and nice. And nice is such a horrible word. I mean, it's not. It's literally nice, but it's such a mid word. It really filled my heart, actually. Sounds cringe, but I was just so happy with the community that I've built online. And I'm just so grateful that people tune in and follow my weird shenanigans on this thing called the internet. Thank you so much to everyone who sent me in their questions over on Instagram. Now, if you aren't following me there, here is your sign to do so, because I sometimes will do random videos like this and you get to be featured in them.